everybody. How are you? It's good to see you. Oh, um, it's been a great day today. Everything has actually gotten. I'm going to back out of this a little bit. um, everything. We finally got sun for the second day since the hurricane. Everybody needs a good dose of vitamin D, and I definitely needed it. So, hope everyone's had a great day. This week on Mental Health Matters, we're going to be speaking about and learning about, and hopefully helping um, PTSD. And I think that everyone, you know, we're all a community. We've all been here. We know how it feels. We know somebody that knows how it feels. There's many forms of it, and it's caused by, many reasons. Um, but the person that I have coming on today, he is going to tell us his story. And I know that everybody loves him because I do. And if I don't see him in a chat, I start to get worried. So, welcome, Mr. Poet Bryan Lucas. Hey,
Thanks for
Bryan.
having me on, and thank you for that introduction.
No, thank you for coming. So, I'm going to let you introduce
Yeah,
yourself.
it's my
Is that
pleasure.
okay? Okay.
Okay, my name is Bryan Lucas. First name, well, David Bryan Lucas is my name. I go by Bryan. I've gone by Bryan all my life. There's a reason behind that, I think. Okay, I was born in 1972, so that makes me 52 in Fairmont, West Virginia.
Wow.
Okay, so I'm come from Appalachia hillbilly stock, but I was raised in Central Arkansas. So
Yeah.
I call myself hillbilly stock, redneck raised. So,
I like that.
and you can just imagine the jokes I got when I got out in the world. Okay, so where's your shoes and how's your mother sister?
Oh,
All that crap.
we get that.
You get.
I'm in Texas, and we still get that. Okay, I think it's just a Southern
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, it's partially a Southern thing. Yeah. So yeah, I was born in 1972. Like I said, lived most of my life in Central Arkansas, except there was a period of time when I was fourth, fifth, and sixth grade. Was living out in North Carolina, uh, and then moved back here. And then my 30s, I spent traveling the world.
So, what did
As
you do on that? How did you travel the world?
U.S. Navy. I joined the Navy,
Ah,
and
okay.
yes, yes, I am a veteran.
Well, thank
I
you
did,
for your service. Coming from
and
the niece,
thank you,
the sister of, yes. So, thank you for your service.
and yeah, thank you for that. So I was able to get out and see the world, and moved back to Arkansas at the age of 45 because of reasons. Was in a 10-year disastrous marriage. Didn't like where I was. I was living in San Antonio, Texas, because I originally planned on doing a career. Doing a 20, getting out, and then
Right.
basically sitting on a pond bank if I wanted to for the rest of my life. Well, that didn't happen like I had planned. Which a lot of height weight restrictions. I've always, I. You have a son, Hockeytown. You have a son currently serving in Norfolk. I was stationed in Norfolk for a long time. Um,
My son was also. Mhm.
uh, yeah, I was. So keep on track here.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
so yeah, I got kicked out, but I got discharged because of height weight standards. Uh, and this is the kicker. This is the kicker. 4 months after I got a discharge, a buddy of mine sends me a link to a Navy Times story that the CNO had suspended the 3 strikes you're out rule for height weight standards.
Are you
Uh,
kidding me? Oh,
4.5 months, roughly a little over 4 months. Yeah, it was about 4 months after, because he'd done he had this was 2014, so it's been 10 years. Um, and he had suspended that program, that policy, because they had been losing highly trained
mhm.
sailors because of height weight standards, thousands and thousands of them, versus people getting like kicked out because of popping positive on drug tests.
Right.
Yeah, so it was a drain, all that stuff, and they reformed it. Oh well, I ended up coming back. Well, going back, I ended up back here in Arkansas because one of my best friends came down with prostate cancer. All right,
Wow.
and he's homebound, disabled, got no real family that he can he can depend on, and like I said, I wasn't happy where I was, and we were living with my ex's parents, and that was stressful unto itself. And I'd helped my ex get her master's in social work, so she was working 2 jobs. We had my disability, paying no bills. I'm gonna help my buddy.
Yeah.
Her and her response was, either way, she was screwed.
Wow, what a response.
Yeah, if I wasn't there, I wasn't there to help her, or if I didn't go, she was a bitch.
Yeah.
So, well,
Anything to push your buttons, to push the
no,
buttons?
anything to make it about her. She's
Okay,
a
gotcha.
Yeah, she's a very, very. I don't like to judge people. Okay, I don't like
I
to
know
talk
that
bad,
about you. I know that
but
about you, Brian.
yeah, so I'll just leave that at that. Let's just put it to
Well,
that it
okay, so
was
let me ask you this right there. Let me stop you right there. So
okay.
trauma is what we're
Try,
talking about.
yeah,
Okay, so that's definitely okay. So
yeah,
we are building, and this is like a pressure cooker in you. It seems like
yeah,
building and
yeah,
just more trauma
yeah.
and more trauma. Okay, so
More
now
trauma.
where are we at now?
Where I'm at now is I'm at the end of it. I'm a couple years ago. Luckily, my friend is cancer free. So that where I'm at now is looking at the third act of my life.
Okay,
Okay,
that's fair enough.
and I've been 2 years ago. I got into an accident. Okay, my fault. I wasn't working regularly, and uh, I ended up not doing what I should have done legally. Had to give up my car, and recently, I had a failure to appear warrant for my arrest. I got that. I'm getting all that taken care of on Thursday. So I basically, because of circumstances, because of all stress from 20 years of
Yeah.
being in the Navy, dealing with disastrous marriage, dealing with the consequences of that, financial stress. Uh, I was one of my buddy's primary caregivers. Basically, my life was revolving around his, and so I just broke. I just broke and was not making right decisions. So I decided to scrape everything away, and I retreated back into myself, and basically, I call it, exiled myself from society
Right.
to rebuild myself. So, and that's when I found this community. Okay. So yeah, I
Isn't
started
it funny how
watching
we all get here? How we all get here from one way or another. It's like
one
we're
way or another.
We're here where we're
one way,
supposed to be.
yeah, one way or another. Because I was watching a lot of true crime. I know there are a lot of true crime junkies in this community.
Oh, I know. I
Uh,
crisscrossed with them on LawTube too.
yeah, yeah. So I was watching a lot of true crime, and I ran into the Danny Masterson trial. You know, if you bought my book and you read the intro,
You
I
know I've
talk a
got it.
little bit about it. I know you do. Uh, um, um, so so I where's it going? So I ran into the Danny Masterson trial coverage through Andrew Gold, which led me to Chris Shelton, which led me to Aaron Smith Levin, and then to when I was there when Aaron got Mark and Claire and Mike to start doing more lives and growing their channels, and then I've been here through all the ups and downs, ups and downs, ups and downs until now.
Yes, well, it seems like roller coaster right now.
Yeah, hell yeah, it's a big roller coaster, but but that's just life. That's just life. Um, but to get back to trauma, and we were talking about PTSD, I didn't discover until actually it was about 9-10 years ago. My
Mhm.
my cousin, my cousin Stephanie, she posted on Facebook a list of things, and I think at the time they were calling it childhood post-traumatic stress.
Well, I should have had this pulled up, and I did up here, but on this other monitor it disappeared, so I'm having to wing it. So that's why I was going where
Okay.
you're going. Go ahead, please.
Okay. So there was this list of about 10 things, and I checked off about 7 of them. Right.
Mhm.
I knew I had a messed up childhood, and there's a lot of reasons for that. Um, you know, my parents.
That'll do it.
They yeah, we don't pick and choose our parents.
No, we
You
don't.
know, no, and we spend most of our lives dealing with the consequences of them. Them being our parents. Um, so my parents were from the hills in the mountains in West Virginia. Uh, they had their issues, and their issues was. See, my dad was born in 1939. He was I don't know what order he was in his family, but his he was a big kid. You know, he almost killed. From what I understand, he was a very large baby, and my grandma was a very petite woman, and he almost killed her in childbirth. And my grandpa and him didn't get along. You can just fill in the blanks.
Right.
Uh,
And
then
that is
then my
generational
mom,
trauma. It just keeps going down the
yeah,
line.
generation. So I've got generational trauma. There's generational trauma, and then there was the stuff that happened. When I was a kid.
Correct.
Uh, a lot of fear, uh, alcohol fueled violence, religious trauma, if you want to call it that. For God's sakes,
But
at 5 years old, I was told if I wasn't a good little boy, I was going to burn in hellfire for eternity.
um,
Original sin,
I don't-
you know, taught
I'm sorry. I
and
don't. I'm sorry about that. I get a drink of water here because I'm came from the
yeah,
same place.
yeah. If this,
No,
you
this
know,
is stuff that needs to be talked about because
yeah, and then you thinking back in the 70s. Okay, you had a lot of economic crap going on, just like we got going on
yeah,
now. In some ways, it was worse. You had long lines for gas. You had
mhm,
the Middle East blowing up. You had hijackings happening, seemed like every day. Hostages. For God's sakes, my mom thought Jesus was going to come back and smite all of his all the evil doers, and we were all going to, or whatever, that those situations. You've heard Marilyn talk about it. It's
Marilyn and I are
basically,
from about the same thing, so I think
yeah,
we've all three.
yeah. So
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
I grew up around the Church of Christ and the Southern Baptist.
Southern Baptist. Yeah.
They're good people. Well, most of the people are good people, But my mom really, really, really delved deep into the. There at one point she was a Bible thumper. That's what. And then, but the good thing is, she let me choose when I was young whether I wanted to go to church or not, and I chose not to because something way back then even didn't feel right about it. I don't want to disparage people's religious faith at all. I'm agnostic. I don't know. I try to live my life along the middle path. That's the best way
Right.
to best way to do it. I don't,
Right.
people can believe what they want to believe as long as they don't try to, you know, push it upon me. That's why, and that's just the golden rule is the best way to do it. So growing up, I was dealing with that, the religious stuff, the geopolitical, uh,
Mm-hmm.
the geopolitical situation was, we expected nuclear annihilation also. you know
Yes.
it was weird. It is either going to be, God returning or, nuclear winter.
So, so
What gives?
during this period of time, did you have anybody
Mm-hmm.
that offered you therapy, counseling? Did you get to
No,
see a therapist talk
no.
about it, or was it all it was hush hush? You weren't allowed to spill the family
I,
secrets,
I,
and
well, I was the youngest of three boys. Okay, until my sister came along, and I was always I didn't feel, I guess I didn't feel listened to a lot. You know, um, especially by the, I was the little hanger on as far as my brothers go. They had the, the bird.
yes,
I wouldn't say burden, but for example, was that me or you?
not me. I did. I thought I turned everything off, but that's what I get for thinking. So.
Me. Okay, sorry about that. That's a
No,
message
you're
I'm
fine.
getting from um, someone I did not expect to see. Um, Hi, Marilyn. Um, so no, there was no real therapy,
Hmm.
to I didn't actually start doing therapy until I attempted in my late teens when I got into college.
Okay.
Um, and by that time, I don't know, by that time I was, just uh let's see. No, as far as
Yeah, I
therapy
should have
goes,
brought some more. I should have
therapy
brought some
is
more water
was
with
hit and
me.
miss, and
Looks like
therapy
everybody's
is
gonna be.
hit and miss up until recently.
Hmm.
Um, I went to like I so growing up, back to growing up. Um, I always when I was a kid, I I call it, got taken advantage of
Yes, sir.
by my by my oldest brother.
Tends to
Uh,
run in those. I
yeah.
understand,
So I was molested, by my older brother, by my oldest brother.
and I'm so sorry about that.
He's dead. He died 4 years ago. So I'm not going to. He can't defend himself. So, but that happened, and that's one of the things I started going to. I initially attempted to go to therapy for.
Right.
Okay, dealing with my sexuality, because growing up, I grew up out here. I grew up in the middle of nowhere
Yes.
and did not have a good good experiences. I didn't hit none of those healthy milestones that you are supposed to hit. I'm supposed to hit. Um, I was teased a lot growing up. At one point, I was basically bullied by my entire town. I had an unfortunate nickname that I didn't like, and and people thought it was funny because it riled me up. Please don't call me that. But I don't even like talking about it now. You know, um,
Brian, I am so sorry that
and at one point, people didn't. At one
humanity.
point, people did not even know my real name. I confronted a few people about it when later on in life, and they didn't think anything of it. We didn't think anything of it.
Whew.
Oh well,
So I would say that would
it's
probably
over.
start some of that PTSD, and you said you had CPTSD.
CPTSD complex,
Yeah,
like I told you,
complex.
when
Yeah, that's what I have
10
also.
years ago, 10 years ago,
Yes.
10 years ago, like I told you, I saw that list that my cousin posted on Facebook, and that kind of got the wheels moving. And then recently, with what Jamie Mustard has brought to light with the
Yes.
community about the actual physical aspects of it, and it makes sense now. Whenever I, whenever I think of something, or have an anxiety attack, it
Mhm.
starts. The physical manifestations of it starts in the pit of my stomach, goes up my chest. It's like a claw
Mhm.
grabbing onto your heart,
Yeah.
squeezing.
In your throat.
I've always carried my tension, my stress in my
Yeah.
shoulders, so it makes sense. So I I
You
talk.
got the.
I've been
Yeah.
talking to my therapist. I see a therapist once a month through the VA. Thank God I got the VA. You know, and and
So I'm going to
that's how
ask
it.
you
What?
how in the VA, how is
Yeah.
okay, so in the mental health services, I know I'm just going to tell you from my part, Brian,
Hmm.
that I deal
Hmm.
with this every day. And
Yeah.
in Texas, not being in the VA, but you've lived in Texas. You and I've talked about that
Yeah.
before. But
Mhm.
it's so hard to find mental health services, much less physical, I mean medical, but the mental side of it is just taboo, and it's just a stigma attached to it. There's 2 or 3 certain entities in our state that control the entire mental health system.
Yeah. I don't know, as far here in Arkansas, it's really robust.
Wow.
There's a there's a high demand though. Like, it took me uh okay, let's go back.
Mhm.
My
Go
20s,
ahead. Go
when
ahead.
when when I was initially getting therapy, uh That's when I was in college trying to deal with my sexuality and all that stuff. You know, and the fact that I couldn't, when I think of, uh, the fact that I couldn't figure out why I couldn't talk to women or all this other crap, those services were provided for me through the college I went to. Okay.
Okay.
When I was not in college, but later on in my 20s, and I was dealing with getting my, more of that, getting my heart broke, and just not generally liking my life and stuff.
Right.
I actually got free through the state of Arkansas because of my income level and all that stuff. There was this place called Counseling Associates. I got everything paid for.
Wow.
Um, Now, as
I'm
far as
I'm
yeah, as far as now, I deal with my stuff through the VA, and because of COVID, okay, the demand went up, right? And it took me a while. It took me a while when I finally decided to go back, and this was almost a year ago. Almost a year ago is when I finally decided to go back and uh, pursue therapy on a regular basis. It took
and
me a
how's
little
it work?
while.
Is it working?
It, it's it's
Do you
helping,
feel it
yes.
help? It does help.
Yeah, I haven't been feeling myself lately for a lot of reasons. I'm like in my fourth week. I'm entering my fourth week of no nicotine, so this weekend will be a month.
Congratulations. I can't say the same.
Yeah, yeah, uh, yeah. So partially inspired by Maryland, but
Marilyn,
this is
yes.
this is the third time I've quit nicotine. But it's been a roller coaster, so to speak. And lately, I've been feeling stuck. I've not been able to really go anywhere lately because I can't drive. The vehicle that I have is needs repair work done on it that I probably can't afford at the moment. Um, and it's just stuff. So thank you. Uh, uh, so we can get back on track here.
It's
Um,
okay. Take your time. I want you to do it at your pace. We have enough stress in this world right now.
oh
Your
yeah,
pace is all we need.
oh yeah. So
Take it,
so
take it as the
so going back these last couple, like I said, these last couple of years have been, well, even before that, dealing with heartbreak and all that stuff, and I was self-medicating, and uh yeah, especially like I got my heart I got my heart broke for third time, no, second time. um wouldn't call the third time heartbreak, it's more like heartache. um my ex-girlfriend, we didn't part on good ways. I was not in my right mind. I was strung out on. I was doing stimulants. Not. It's not. Uh, and when you don't sleep a lot, you don't make good choices.
understand.
Uh, yeah,
But in the
and
military,
I ended up.
you were taught not to sleep. I
Well,
mean,
no, in the military, there are times where you do lose sleep because of whatever is going on, but
right.
they actually make sure that eventually you do get rest. Now they are taking things a lot. I can judge about 10 years ago. It's probably advanced more since then, because the way society, the way the military goes, because the military is a microcosm of society, of the culture at large. The military were the first to integrate. What happened 10 years later? we had the anyways. Um,
No,
we
you're okay. Go
actually
ahead.
there are services that I was actually able to that I tried to use when I got married. I realized after I got married that me and my ex-wife would probably need counseling, and of course she didn't think so. But we went to we didn't we actually were provided marriage counseling, and I was provided. Uh, there was this the service called the Navy Marine Corps Relief Society. They that those that's a nonprofit organization that provides all that stuff for the sailors and Marines if they needed it. Yeah. So there's the stigma on getting mental health is
Always
as far
is.
as it's in my experience in the Navy, the stigma was going away. You know, they actually encourage you to get the help you need, because if you are not thinking straight, if there's crap going on in your life that's distracting you from your job, it is not conducive to mission readiness and good order and discipline to have someone who is going through something, you know. And then eventually if it interferes too much with your job, they will actually separate you. That, you know, you can be separated from for those issues, but they'll take care of you for the rest of your life through the VA.
Right.
You know, I remember uh, several people that I went to uh, through training and stuff with that ended up getting separated because of mental health issues, and you know, so up to a certain point, they will help you with them, and there are services and all that stuff that you can take advantage of. And I'm sure that you know uh, that you know I can't attest to what's going on today, but that has been my experience. Uh, so
I'm going to ask you this. Um,
okay,
you've tried. The VA has the different types of therapies. Um, you said you had some therapy through college.
hmm
What has been most effective
yeah,
in helping you with? I mean, it doesn't have to be with all. We take this one, and it is an illness. I mean, it's an injury. You take it one step at a
yeah,
time. And, you know what has seemed
yeah.
to help you the most.
Being able to talk. I do. I don't. I tried cognitive behavioral
The
stuff.
CBT. Hmm.
CBT. No. Me and the guy that they put me with. I didn't have a good rapport with him. I'm an old school, just talking about my problems, you know, and I've I'm really don't like taking pills, you know. Uh, I use this for my for I have gastro issues and my skeletal muscle issues, and it also helps with the old noggin.
Okay,
But
so
I
when
tried
were you?
when I was
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
go ahead.
I was gonna say, when were you?
No,
When did
no,
they
I
diagnose
tried.
you with that? With PTSD? Was it the military, or was it after the military, or?
No, I have not been. I have not been officially diagnosed with PTSD.
Well,
Um, I'm being
that's a
treated for
label.
depression as
There you
far
go.
as
You're
my
treated.
mental health go as label. You know what?
It's a label. We're not. I'm not. We have enough labels we carry around.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. Uh, Yeah. Oh well. But as far as I see it, I don't see a psychiatrist. I see a counselor.
Wonderful.
So I don't. I could get the antidepressants if I wanted to, but I choose not to. Because they never really worked on me. I tried once when I was in my late 20s when I was dealing with getting my heart broke for the first time.
Right.
Uh, when I was going through counseling associates, I actually did. I was taking Paxil, and it didn't work. So I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, no,
And I just hate taking pills.
yeah. Unfortunately, you know, we have a broken bone, we know what to do with it. I mean, we have a certain
Yeah.
infection, they know what pills to treat, you know what medicine.
Mhm.
If you have diabetes, they have to keep trying you on different insulins till they find the one that works. So if your brain needs some meds, then they have to keep trying to find out which ones will work. And unfortunately, it does take
And I
a lot of time and it takes a toll on the body
mm,
also.
but I could if I wanted to. Yeah, yeah, I could if I could get. Was my internet messing up?
I
Uh,
think so.
okay, I could get meds if I wanted to, no problem. I just choose not to. I'm thinking a more holistic approach, natural stuff. Cannabis.
Hey,
I meditate,
whatever works.
and I
As long as as long as it's not hurting you or
yeah.
anybody else, well, it works.
Mhm. Yeah. So that's how I deal with my stuff. And then I have my uh I can't uh, I have you guys to help me.
Work.
Sometimes though I've been taking a step back though. Lots of there's been some burnout. I I will admit that. Uh and with everything that's going on in my personal life,
Right.
and again I'm getting I'm at a point to where I just want to go do stuff, but I'm stuck
Okay. Okay. So
until
tell.
I get
Let's,
my legal stuff taken care of.
okay, I've got you. Okay. I would say, talk to me about that. Let's talk
Okay.
about because there's probably plenty of people that's going to be seeing this. I know there's tons of people out there that get in
Yeah.
that same mindset and in that same place.
Hmm.
Maybe we can help. Maybe we can help someone else. If you have
Um. Okay. So
this in the chat. I'm trying to get somebody in here, but I'm sorry.
um.
I'm not. I'm not. I'm so not trying to be rude. Please do not
That's okay.
take advantage of
That's
this.
okay.
No, I'm asking the chat to please be courteous and don't take advantage of what I just posted, please. That's it,
Okay.
Marilyn.
Oh, the link.
Yeah, yeah. I was gonna surprise our get our friend up here because I think we all three have things, but I asked her beforehand. Marilyn, it was it letting you in? TJ. Hell, I'm listening mostly. My heart goes out to Brian and big props for having the courage to share. I agree, Nico. Look, he's got me over here crying and bawling. Okay, my heart is so big
Yeah.
for this, and it took me back because I didn't think it would affect me this way. Um, but it has because it's there's Gretchen. Hey, Brian. Sorry I wasn't able to join Keilah on the
Um.
interview part. I'm watching. I'm here late, but watching. Thank you so much for sharing what is a very difficult thing to share. And I agree with
That's
Gretchen.
okay.
And look, she is doing
Yeah.
fantastic on the Facebook and the peer support and the meetings. They're doing wonderful
Mm,
there. And this one
good.
is this subject. I didn't realize the feelings that it I mean, this is true. I mean, it's real. There's no script for
Yeah.
this. I mean, when it hits you, it
No.
hits you. So, hey,
Hey,
Mama.
Marilyn.
Hey, Mama Bear. How are
Hi.
you?
I'm
Hey.
good. Hello, friends. I just been listening and, sweeping the floor, and here I am.
We're your cubs here, and I think some of your cubs might need a little Mama Bear love
This is
here.
breaking my heart. Oh
Me
my
too.
goodness. I had no
It's
idea.
okay. Yeah.
I
There's
know,
this.
but I'm
There's.
sorry.
I joke and say that to the Chinese curse. May you live in interesting times.
Yeah.
On a personal level, is may you have an interesting life. And I think all of us have had interesting lives. I talked about it a little bit when I did with the interview I did last week with my other's keeper. We're all messed up here in one way or the other, and
Yeah.
that's not to belittle or downplay anybody else's trauma, because trauma is trauma. There's no swinging no member for when it comes to like like Reese says, as far as all that goes. And it's, I don't know where I'm going. I don't know where in the hell I'm going with this. It's just really interesting that I'm actually talking. I've known Marilyn for, how long have we been interacting with each other?
Good. It's
Quite
got to be a year and a half. Yeah, it's got to be a year and a half. Yeah.
Yeah,
Brian,
well
if
over
I
a year.
don't see you in a chat, I immediately get worried. You're one of the main people that I look for, and you're in the community. You're there for everyone in the community. So I really do get worried when I don't see you in it.
Well, considering I've been basically a hermit for the last 2 years, I've had to do something with myself. That's why I'm around a lot. I laugh and I tell people I have no life. Really and truly, I don't at the moment. My schedule is the only thing I got to do is I got to show up in court on Thursday. That's the only thing I got going on right now. But anyways, I forgot where I was going with this. But yeah, I've
you make people feel
brain
welcome.
fart again.
No, you make people feel welcome.
Are you frozen, or is that me? Am I frozen?
I try to. I'm a big believer in the golden rule, and that kind of gets me in trouble too. But I think my internet can be really spotty at times, and that's probably partially me. I don't know, but I'm a big believer in the golden rule, and that kind of can get me in trouble at times. Because I expect people. I sometimes expect people to behave like I would. I'm like, okay, I treat you a certain way. I expect you to treat me the same way. Again, the bullying when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I didn't like, if I just I try to be nice to every. I'm a nice guy. I don't know if that's trying just trying to be a nice guy is just how I am. I try to like I try to greet people in their time zone. I just kind of and that kind of like getting the Aussies down has been kind of tough for me sometimes, because depending on, okay, are they on the western side of Australia, on the eastern side, but it's kind of just the nice thing to do, and sometimes I don't know.
And you are appreciated.
Just who I am.
By me, for sure. Every time I see you, you're very. I appreciate it. There may be no one else in there that says hi, but you do.
Yeah.
I mean, especially if I just happen to be going somewhere, So I'm on. I've got a live. I'm sorry. If I have sorry about that. Especially if I go into a chat that's unknown, that I want to check out. There's Brian. He says hello, and I immediately.
He always says good afternoon, good
yes,
good evening,
yes.
good
and
morning.
he knows the time zone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What What the reason I wanted to ask Marilyn to come up is, and this is totally up to her. She does what I mean. She is Mama Bear, we have to. But we all three have a very similar story, and
Yeah.
I didn't realize it until today how similar. And this was breaking my heart, and I just needed
Yeah.
someone that knew. She knows what I went through, and now she knows what you did.
Yeah.
And I think we all probably just needed
Yeah.
just some time here.
Yeah, well, anytime.
Well,
And, that's the thing I
from
think that unites us together is that no matter what walk of
Mhm.
life we've come through, we can all relate at some level. And I love this community for that
Mhm.
reason, because whether you're in front of the camera or in the chat, we all are
Mhm.
rooting for each other and there for each other. And some people more than others, I feel, oh, I'm gonna cry. No,
I already
I
have.
feel a special bond with, and whether you've been raised in Scientology or another cult or an abusive relationship or some type of corporate situation, bullying as a kid. I
I
mean,
can't.
all the things that we've been through. I think that we all can relate at some level, and that's what makes this special.
Absolutely.
And I see so many people in the chat. Hi, Blakey,
I know, Blake.
Nico,
Hey,
Hey, Blake.
Nico. Everybody's there. Sarah.
Sarah,
I'm just I
DJ.
don't know the words to say. I guess I'm looking for the words to find because
Yeah.
this went way a different way than I had planned. I had all this stuff, planned, and it's just gone because I'm
Well.
so glad that we got on a more personal level and maybe help
Mhm.
each other know that we're not alone.
Yeah.
I mean, we come from all walks of life, but we're not alone.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
we're not. We're
Sometimes you
not.
have to
And
go ahead.
it being in this community actually puts my stuff in perspective because I went through bad stuff. I'll crap I went through. I should I almost saw my mom get killed twice. Okay, I saw my mom almost get killed twice.
Right.
Uh, Alcohol. That was that. But there are other people. There are people out here who experienced worse than I did. None of the abuse, none of the physical abuse was visited upon me. You know, uh, I was a good boy. I hardly ever got whipped, but when I got whipped, I deserved it. As far as that discipline goes. But it was the tension and the fear. Blake knows fear is the mind killer.
Yeah.
Uh, you
Even
know, you know
even
that
for the
that,
female,
that
the one, even for the females, I think
yeah,
especially probably, um, like Marilyn and I, we were always held to. I mean, everything
yeah.
is our
You
fault.
guys,
Yep.
yeah.
No matter what
You
happened,
guys
it was our fault.
from well, there's reasons for that. There's reasons for that. I study ancient history for fun. Okay, and yeah, I do it for fun. I've always been fascinated by it. Um, I'm Nico. I'm really sorry you had to go through that. Uh, but
Yeah, I'm gonna get
uh,
to their questions in just a little bit.
yeah,
Mm,
the original, like I was getting back to original sin, it all comes down to a woman's fault, Eve.
of course.
But if you study actual text, okay, I actually studied the Genesis chapter 1 or yes, chapter 1 in as a trickster myth when I was in college. If you put the proper, not proper perspective, but it's whatever. Anyways, I forgot where I was going with this, but yes, in a lot of those religious, or a lot of those
The fundamental,
a lot of
the
those
Yeah.
fundamental.
things,
Yeah.
especially, yeah, it comes back to, it's all, a lot of it is, it's the woman's fault. But if you look back in the archaeological record, right, what we have actual evidence for is up until about 6,000 years ago. Okay, up until about 6,000 years ago, in the archaeological record, you have a lot of egalitarian, a lot of evidence for more egalitarian societies, more matriarchal societies, right?
Yeah.
Something happened around between like 6,000 and 4,000 BC, way long ago, where the archaeological record changes and where you get the more patriarchal societies, the more where it goes to where religion developed and organized religion and all stuff. I could go into it. Anyways, I forgot where I was going with this again.
That's okay. Take your time. It's talking on, but
we're not going anywhere.
no, we're here for you.
Trying an impromptu history lesson here, but I'm
a history nerd. It's really interesting.
Yeah, I
didn't know that.
Here.
But are we freezing again, or is it?
Yeah,
me?
a little bit. I can hear you though.
We can hear you. It's just the picture.
Oh, he's frozen a little bit.
Okay. Okay, yeah, because my
you're back.
Yeah, because it's my internet. I've been having problems with them. Don't give me.
That's okay. I have country internet here too.
Yeah, I have an antenna that I get broadcast, and I've been having issues. So is there anything? I guess anything else? Because I kind of brain farted that out.
I want you to,
what just comes to mind is just we're here just holding space for each other, and we're all human. Okay. We're all friends here, and I love that. I give you so much credit, Poet, that I didn't know a lot of things.
I didn't either
about you,
and it got me in a place that I didn't realize that it was going to take me too. So I'm going to tell you this. I thank you for being brave enough to stand up and say this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because you just showed someone somewhere that they too can do that.
Yeah.
And for that, I thank you doesn't even seem enough.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't hear this from like the man's perspective of the Fundy.
Yeah.
As women, we know, but really from a man's point of view and from the man's situation, we haven't really spoken about that a lot.
And this community is a very, very, it's heavily skewed female. So that's what you're going to get a lot of, a lot of that. But, I went through the ringer. I've been through the ringer. It could have been worse. That's the way I tried to keep that. It could have been worse, and I'd hate to see the people who has it the worst, because there are people out there who have bad. We are extremely lucky.
But that does not negate what happened.
No, it doesn't.
It does not negate anything that happened.
But it does not negate.
No, it does not negate.
It does, I know that, but that's how I try to keep it in perspective, keep it my own issues in perspective. It could have been a lot worse.
I compartmentalized until my compartments flew open and nothing else would fit.
But
so I guess we do have our own way of dealing with it, but it's eventually going to rise to the surface.
Yeah.
But okay,
Oh, this dadgum internet again.
so let me grab some questions really quick, if you don't mind, because since we're all three here,
Yeah,
so is
and it's
that okay, Brian?
okay.
Okay, so I've got
Yeah, okay.
Hockey Town John. Maryland has inspired so many of us to quit. I'm still working.
Yeah, never quit quitting.
Oh,
That's
am I
right.
supposed
Okay, you can do.
Okay, I'm not
You
touching
can
this
do.
thing anymore. Kathy, you got it or no? Yeah, I'm not touching it
You
anymore.
can do. You can quit how I quit. You can quit how I quit smoking. When I quit smoking cigarettes, that was actually the toughest.
Hmm.
Well, let me back up. When I quit using smokeless, actually, that's when I started writing. I started
Really?
writing to keep my mind off. Yeah, to keep my mind off of it. You know, I just started writing out rhymes and doing this, that, and the other. That's when I started writing.
Oh, that's amazing.
When I quit smoking cigarettes, again, my circumstances were conducive toward I'd get stoned and go to sleep. That's how I dealt with withdrawal symptoms. And I still and luckily I had really understanding roommates because I drove them nuts anyways. So, but they was like, you slept a lot. That was a good. So, yeah.
All right.
Okay. Is this next?
Sarah brought all progress is progress, and that is a great thing to celebrate. Well done.
Absolutely.
Yes, I agree. Hockey Town John. Brian, the fact that you can still be positive and create your beautiful poetry despite everything you've been through is inspirational. And I agree with that.
Mhm.
Yes. Thank you, John.
Well,
Oh, Mr.
thank you.
Wise
Well, like
Man.
I've said before, what I put out, what I put out is I write a lot, and I don't write as much as I think I should, but I write. Thank you. I just thank you.
Here's Mr. I call Mr. Blake Reed, Mr. Wise Man. It's not belittling at all. It's emboldening. It brings us closer to the answers because we have our strength and others to keep us going. You are not alone, and we're not alone. You're absolutely right, Blake.
Love that, Blake.
I love it.
Thank you.
Blake, you need to write, dude.
Yes,
Yeah.
he does. Yes, he does. I agree with that.
I've
DJ
told him that
Nico.
before.
I know it. Nico, Brian, you know you can get in touch anytime you need. I consider you a great friend. You've been so kind and supportive to so many. You deserve some too. And
Well,
that's
thank
why
you.
I asked
100%.
to come up.
Mm-hmm.
John, this community is full of love and understanding for our traumas. I'm beyond blessed to have found this wonderful group. So have I.
Well, we are, it's been discussed before. We are a trauma bonding community, and that's
And trauma
with all
healing.
the good the good stuff and the bad stuff. It's just finding that balance. It's all life is about is finding that balance, and that's something I do every day.
Marilyn, can you see those?
Yeah, you want me to read it?
Yes, ma'am, please.
Okay. It's from Sophia. Talking about that stuff is hard if you were supposed to be the quote tough dude about it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and I grew up in the rural South. We're supposed to man up. Man up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sophia, again, just because you survived well enough doesn't mean it was supposed to be yours to carry. Right.
I agree with that. I think
yeah.
the generational trauma there is just astounding.
Yeah, especially the stuff with my parents. I never had any closure with my dad. Right. When I was going to, he died 1997. And I never got to talk. I never got to tell him what was on my mind. And with my mom, she had an accident, a bad car accident in 91. And it mostly erased her memory from she came this close to dying. It mostly erased her memory. So she doesn't remember a lot.
Mm.
So I'm destined, doomed to remember it for them. And then I did actually I did my sister's father. He's the one who almost beat my mom to death twice.
Oh my God.
He died a little over a year ago, and I actually talked to him about it, and he didn't remember either. And I forgave him. I thought it was a couple months before he passed. I called him up and we had a talk, and I forgave him. And because it was the right thing to do. It was the right thing to do.
I always say forgiveness is for yourself,
Right.
not
Yep.
the other person.
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely.
You're letting that go.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you are doing well, Brian. It takes tremendous courage to share for our benefit too. Thank you for
Yes,
so
sir.
it's tough.
Yes, thank you
It's
for
tough to
being
talk
so
about.
open.
Man, my life is if you got nothing to hide, then I relatively don't these days.
Hamina, hi, sweetheart. I am so glad to
Okay.
see man breaking the norm and start healing. That is so needed. In my country, you don't see what I am seeing in Brian. You are a great man, an awesome human being, and we love you. And I agree, Hamina, 100%.
Absolutely.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Thank you.
that could have been better said.
Absolutely, Brian. And you've been such a support to me and so many of us. And it's the least we could do to just hold space and listen to you as well. And thank you for sharing that with us and trusting us with
Yes.
your life.
No problem. Yeah.
Appreciate that.
John says, I used Chantix my first time and had no problem quitting. But once the meds were gone, I couldn't fight the returning cravings. Wish it could be taken daily.
Yeah, it's in the head. It's in your
Yes,
head.
Marilyn, Mama Marilyn will tell you how to quit.
Yeah, well, it's not easy. Let me tell you, it was like losing a best friend. I'll be honest. But actually, tomorrow, Kelly Copter and I are planning on doing a stream together. And she quit vaping. She had vaped for 10 years, and she had smoked before that, and she was hooked. And she listened to a book and introduced me to it. It was very patient. Didn't push it on me at all. She even came to visit me for a whole week. Spent the week here. I smoked in front of her. She never said a word, but just it made me think, well, hey, she hasn't smoked or vaped in like 3 months. I'll try it. What do I have to lose? It was like a free because I had Audible, credits. So I was like, I'll listen to the book. Let's see. And it actually helped me just be ready. There's no even though the title is the easy way to quit smoking. For me, I never do anything the easy way. But it has worked so far. It's been one day at a time. But
what is that book name? Because every time you and Kelly talk about it, I forget it, and I forget before I can
it's
get somewhere to
called
write it down.
Alan Carr. So there's a famous comedian in the UK. This not that Alan Carr, but it's ALLENCARR. Alan Carr's Easy Way to Quit Smoking, and there's Easy Way to Quit Vaping, Easy Way to Lose Weight. I'm gonna try that one next.
Well, let me just tell you. I went from
the
COVID.
approach.
Oh,
I'm sorry, I had COVID in 2021. Well, I've had it 6 times. So it's the first time I had it. I had 2 different types of pneumonia plus COVID. So I couldn't smoke another cigarette. And I was smoking menthol cigarettes, and I could not, I couldn't breathe it in. So I started vaping. And I think I might just have a vaping problem. So I probably need to look into that work.
Yeah.
Well, this is my advice. Wean yourself off. Okay. I actually, when I vape, I mix my own. And the last week I vaped, I was actually running out of my e-juice. So I thinned it out and that's when, wean yourself off a little ways. That's how I quit. That's how I quit smoking cigarettes. When I quit smoking, I threw away. I smoked my last cigarette that I ever bought for myself. The night when I went to bed, right before I went to bed, and when I woke up, I just didn't go get a pack of cigarettes, and then I'd smoke like half one here, half one there for a week, and then haven't had a cigarette since. So that's the best way to do it. And of course, I stayed stoned a lot too. So
Well, I had to do it because I couldn't breathe. So, but then I started getting that
Yeah.
after the COVID wore off, and I was like, I couldn't inhale a cigarette. I was like, no more for me. And then I don't know how I got on there. But anyway, that's where we're at now.
Yeah,
Okay,
I did cold turkey. I wouldn't recommend it, but I did it. To me, it was more like I had tried to do the patches and all that, and it just never lasted because I knew it was in my head. The nicotine for me was gone, in 3 days, but it's just that the habit and the hits of dopamine that you get, and there was really nothing that could replace it. So I had to kind of grieve it, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, that does. And also, and another thing you can do, right? Because what nicotine does, there's no natural receptors in your body for that stuff. It uses your thirst mechanism, right?
Interesting.
That's why when you want a cigarette, you feel it here first, and then it goes down into your lungs.
Wow.
Yeah. So I would, that's why I keep water around,
Yeah.
Cheers.
So next time you want
A
it,
coffee and water.
There you go.
Drink some water. Drink coffee.
I chose to break the stigma associated with male emotions, and I'm so thankful that I am not alone.
I love that.
Well,
I do. I love that.
Yeah.
That's awesome, John.
Thank you, John.
And I'm glad our culture is slowly but surely changing.
Yes.
There is whenever you have change, you're going to have, especially when people try to progress too rapidly, right? You're going to have that inevitable backlash, right?
Right.
And we're seeing that right now in our in our politics
Everywhere.
and in certain aspects of our society. We're seeing that, progress over the last 30 years has been remarkable in a lot of respects in society, but it's that, it's people reaching, people are not being wise about it. Let's just put it that way.
Right.
In some
Sophie
respects.
says it's always hard to. I'll tell you, my glasses are really. I got to go wipe them off. I'm crying. It's always hardest to process and move on if no one apologizes for it or acknowledge it actually happened.
Right.
Okay,
Oh,
so
God,
on
yeah.
that one, I agree with that, but then I have another part to that. When you have someone that is never going to admit to it because they face going behind bars.
Yeah.
If you have someone that won't admit to it because it might tarnish the church's reputation, or if you have somebody that won't admit to it because he don't want to lose his marriage. There's a lot of. Can you put that back up there for me, please? I'm sorry, Kathy Ann. Oh, we might have lost it already. I was trying to remember what the last one said, but oh, thank you, Kathy.
Yeah.
It's always hard to process it. Yeah, because I've never received an apology. I honestly don't think I could stomach that because that would be that would be an admission. You know what I mean? That would be an admission.
Yeah.
So, or acknowledges it actually happened. I live that. I live that. And so does, my brother. He lives that. And
yeah, I've confronted my mom about some things, and her out, I guess, is that she's sorry, but she doesn't really remember because of the accident. I don't know. I'll give her the benefit of the doubt, and I love my mom out of respect for her. I don't want, okay. I just it's something I just deal with every day. Some days are better than others.
My mom did the best that she could for me. She,
Yeah.
I mean, who do you tell? You know, so you tell your Sunday school teacher. Tell your
Mm.
Sunday school teacher, but someone else has custody of you and your mom don't. But your mom
Mhm.
can't get to you. So my mom did what she had to do. You know, where she worked, um, is where I was taken. And I hated
Mhm.
her for that.
Mm.
I'm like, I don't have my freedom and he does. And she told me, it's the only way I could keep you safe. And
Yeah.
that I learned in therapy. And that I have been
Yeah.
able to let go of. And that is one thing that I have been able to do. She loved
Uh,
me enough to get me away. So
Mm.
she heard me.
yeah.
I wish I
But
could hug you so bad.
Sending good vibes.
no, I just, you'll probably have to read this, right?
All right, I'll do it. In a world
Go ahead.
seeking equality, we need to recognize the gaps with things we need to advocate for males to flourish as well. There's things on both sides for sure. Yeah, it's again, it's all about finding balance, and that's where I believe a lot of Eastern philosophies have their advantages, because a lot of Buddhism and all that stuff is about finding balance in yourself and and with the world around you, because when the world is in balance, things are cool. It's when you get those extremes, that's when things start getting off kilter,
Yep.
just finding that balance, and it starts here and here.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You have to
Everywhere
ground
else.
yourself.
Mhm.
I can read that one. Sarah Browett. In the world, it can feel safer to, quote, hide, but your motivation is to give to others. Stirring this up isn't easy, but you care so much. Beautiful that you let your guard down to share, to give to us. Absolutely.
Thank you.
That's what it's
Mm.
about. Love that.
If we can help one person, that's
Yeah.
all. I mean, or each other.
Yep.
It as long as you know, as
So
long as we're
sorry.
making progress.
Yeah. I'm so sorry, DJ.
That
Saw my
sucks.
mother. Yeah.
Oh, DJ, I am so sorry, Nico.
Yeah,
I did not
you know,
have any idea.
I will be the first to admit that I've thought about a little ideation, a little suicide ideation every, here and there. Um, but I try to keep in mind it is a permanent solution to a
A
temporary
temporary
problem.
problem. My
Yeah.
mom has taught me
That
that my
sounds
whole life.
that, that does sound cliche,
It's the truth.
but it's the truth.
It is.
Yes, truth.
You
And
wake up,
you
just
know,
go to sleep on it. Call me in the morning if you
you know,
still feel like that, but go sleep on it first. It's
mm,
always darkest
and
before the dawn.
and
This
honestly, I
too
don't
shall
think I could
pass.
have dealt with. Yeah, this too shall pass, and and it's
And be still. I've learned that.
yeah,
Just be
be
still.
still, take a
Yeah.
breath, take a deep breath, and and honestly, I will have to admit that the fear of hellfire
We've
kind of, you know is that early religious indoctrination.
Yeah.
If you do this, that's the ultimate sin. That's one of the ultimate sins, is to take your own life.
Yep.
yeah.
One way ticket to Haiti, one way ticket to that.
Yep.
So I will admit that there. So, but yeah, it's a temporary problem that
That's
does
right.
not require a permanent
Does
solution.
not require
It's
that.
going to
You're
happen one day anyways.
even if you have
It's
to
going to
make people
happen one
mad
day
and that's
anyways. That's the only two things we have in common. The only two things that we as a species have in common are we're born and then we die.
that is correct.
And everything else between then is just up to us. And
And it's that
my
dash.
philosophy is I like breathing.
No,
Yep.
and exactly. But it's that
All right.
dash.
You
I'm sorry, Brian. What you said, just we have a date that we were born. We have a date that we're going to die. But what really matters is that dash in the middle. And I know everyone's probably heard that before, but it
Yep.
is so true. It's what did you do with your dash? What did you
Yeah,
do?
it's the journey.
It is.
It's the journey, and having it comes back to having an interesting life, you know, or a life. What kind of life of significance have you had, and if honestly, being able to wake up in the morning and get through your day without friggin' without going crazy or something bad happening, it's actually an accomplishment in and of itself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, especially
You know.
this week. Like I said, I need a shirt that said it's been one hell of a year this week.
Oh yeah.
And that's been it.
Yeah, Otter Dance. I love that name, Otter Dance 64. Holly C. Hi there. Well said. Trauma bonding can be healthy, but it takes a lot of inner work. Yeah, inner work.
And
Yes.
I am in my therapist 3 times a week. And I know
Well, yeah,
but
and
it's what I have to do. What did Holly say?
Otter, you want to read it, or want me to?
You're go ahead.
Okay. Otter Dance 64. Holly C. Hey there again. I considered unaliving myself during my first awful marriage. Imagining my nephews, who were 11 and 13 at the time, standing over my coffin, stopped me. Oh yeah. Think of the people you love at your coffin. Yeah.
All right. So I think I told this last week. My 13-year-old grandson followed through with the school pack, but he was the only one that did. And he's no longer here. I refuse to see a child in that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go in and see him. None. I may be a paramedic and can work on a lot of things, but what I can't do is I cannot go in to see a child in one of those boxes, and I can't. That's where I draw my line. That's my boundary. But
well, I
shouldn't be.
I don't do
temporary solutions. I mean, it's a
See,
it's a
I don't do.
permanent, it's a temporary problem, and it is. My mom taught me. She used to tell me it's the most selfish thing you could ever do in your lifetime. And I
Oh,
didn't
yeah,
really get that.
the,
I was thinking, how are you? She's been a psychiatric nurse her whole life, so she's been through so much, and I guess over the years it has hardened her to that point. But I'm like, how could you be so hateful? She goes, you think about this before you ever do anything like that. Come to me. Come to someone. Now we have 988. Please, if you ever feel like that and you can't reach somebody, call 988. The suicide hotline, 988. It will get you help. It's the lifeline.
Yeah. And I've used the veterans health, the veterans hotline. I've used that before. Although the last time I called them, because I was bored.
But how did that?
Yeah.
I mean, did it give you the tools to get through what you were going through?
Oh yeah, yes, because we had it was actually it was a while back. It was earlier this year. We had a power outage, so I was really, really bored. Didn't have anybody to talk to, so I called them up, and I was like, "Okay, is this?" They were just fine. They were happy to talk with me, And I've used it before. I was, helped me off from the edge once or twice. So, but yeah, it's and there's no reason, now these days with communication the way it is, there's no reason for you not to be able to get a hold of someone, but it can still be hard to get a hold of someone, or it's not just
I mean, if you can't get their friend, call 988. It doesn't matter. Call them, and you'll be here tomorrow for your friend to answer the phone. I mean, just give it one more day.
All right, I guess I'll read this one.
I love you.
My
therapist tells me that it is not my parents that did not love me. They just don't love me the way I need it. but knowing that they are not able to do it like that has helped me heal.
Mm,
When
that's a
it
good
comes to
point. Yeah.
boundaries and when it comes to parents and healing, this is the lady right here. I mean, that's amazing.
I have a canine emergency. I'll be right back.
Oh, go ahead, Brian. Go ahead.
Of course.
Marilyn, thank
Yeah.
you for coming on
Oh,
here.
of
I know we
course.
just were drop of
Anytime.
a hat, but
Of course.
Brian
I
is
love
very.
you. You know that.
I love you too, and I thank you. I didn't mean to put you on the spot like that.
No. Hey, it just so happened I was just that my husband said he was going down to swim and go to the store, so hey, I had some time.
I
The dogs were
appreciate it.
quiet, and I'm here for you, honey.
Yeah,
I just really you're special. You're special to me.
so are you,
And
and I
so is
had
Owen.
no idea that this was. I really had no idea the effects that it would have on me, then knowing that it was the same. Like I thought I would never find anyone in that position that I was in, and then I found you, and now Brian, and it's
You're gonna make me
just
cry.
no, it's just. I mean, we have a community of support, and it's
Yeah.
Yeah.
really, it's really. It, I don't know, meant to be. We're here. We have Gretchen that helps us along.
I know
With
Gretchen's amazing. And Keilah,
she
you're always
is.
here. You're here for everyone else. And I feel privileged to be able to be here for you for a change.
Thank
You know?
you. Thank you.
Absolutely.
What did Gretchen say here? Oh, that's
Oh,
Blake. Oh, I can't see that. Hang on, Blake. I'm trying to find. I'm sorry, Blakey. I'm trying to find Gretchen. I think therapy can be healing, however, not always easing, as it can touch at things we suppress and avoid. I had one of those therapy sessions myself Friday. Had a difficult weekend, but now feeling better.
yeah.
Gretchen, you do so much for us too. Thank you so much. Oh, she has a question for you.
We love Phil.
It was George. Okay, is that better? Okay, I had to put my internet's getting bad, so I had to put my computer on my hotspot. So this is better. Okay, this is a lot better.
Yeah,
Brian. It was George that I had to go out. How is Phil? Phil's a brat, but he's doing okay.
He's so cute.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, Blake, thank you. You're so sweet.
Yes.
Blake, you are just. Thank you.
You are so special, Keilah. Everything you have done so much for us. Love you, my friend. I
love you
second
too,
that.
Blake, and I
Absolutely.
really appreciate you. You're very, very. You're Blake. I told you, I called you the wise young man instead of the wise bearded man.
He is. He's amazing.
You need to start writing, Blake. You need to start writing.
He said he's journaling. I saw him say that in the chat.
Good.
He's working on it.
That's
Picking
great.
up his journaling.
Well, is there anything? I always end. I want to ask both of you if you don't mind.
Okay.
Marilyn, you. Hey, Miss Sunrise Dawn. I'm supposed to see Nico. Keith, hey, how are you? Blake,
Hi, Keith.
Sarah, John, my mod is amazing. Kathy Ann's been backstage doing all of this
Kathy
for me.
Ann.
Yes, and Mandy was here. She's a mod, and I don't know, Mandy may not. They may have had to jump out, but anyway, I really appreciate them, and I appreciate y'all for coming. Just the chat to being in here.
Yeah, you had a great chat. Yeah, it's been awesome.
I really did. It was a really nice conversation, and it actually.
I kind of felt all over the place, but this is a very, very.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
One of those subjects. It's one of those subjects. We can always do a part 2, because like I told, like the only thing I have to do is I have to show up at court at 2 p.m. Thursday. That's the only thing I have to do.
Well, we have a whole week when we jump over to the Facebook. I will continue to do stuff on the YouTube side, but Gretchen now will jump over to the Facebook side. And she's just oh, Sophia, hey, she's so interactive over there. Gretchen is with the Facebook chat, so, um, Kathy, what did you say? Not at all. Oh, Nico, okay. Nico,
Yeah.
and I just saw Sophia. Indigo Twin, hi, how are you? Yes, we have a Facebook. Yes, we
Yeah.
do. And I'm sure Mr. Hockeytown John will put that link up there for you.
Awesome.
And in that Facebook group is a little different than most. They're geared more towards peer support, and they have Zoom meetings once a week for peer support. And Gretchen is in there, she's very interactive in there. Uh, it's I really like it. I really like her vision for that part of it. My vision couldn't get my vision was for here, and then her vision has. I mean, it's amazing. I've
You make a
it's
great team.
it's much needed,
Yeah.
and
Thank you so much
Yeah.
for doing this.
Yeah, and especially lately with all the ups and downs,
yeah,
like I said earlier, we're all messed up in one way or another.
we're all broken, but that's how the light
We're all
shines.
We're all
yeah,
learning.
we're all broken.
But that
And
lets the light shine in.
yeah, that lets the light shine in, but it can also lead to things where we don't want to go. That's why you have to have the robust support system in order to in order for things not to get out of hand. You know what I mean? Because stuff can easily get out of hand. Feelings can be hurt,
Yes.
and you're not thinking logically. That's where you got to step back. That's why I consider myself an observer first and foremost. Okay, because I got emotionally invested in some things, and I got hurt. But I tend to step back, try to be logical, rational about things, and comment when I think what I have to say actually will help people, or is relevant to the conversation. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Because we can flap our lips all we want, chat all we want, but it's actions at the end of the day that really tell you the measure of what type of person you are.
I agree with that.
And I should know. My words is my stock and trade. I'm a writer. Words are cheap.
Yes, you are.
They're
Yep.
harmful.
You know how to choose them. You know how to choose your words wisely.
I try to. Oh Lord.
Wait, I see
All right. I probably should get going soon
yeah,
just because
but
I hear the dogs barking.
Gretchen, we are wounded, but as they say, wounded healers heal. Thank you,
Yes.
Gretchen.
Yeah, and I need to get off here
Okay.
and check on my
Okay,
dogs.
so I appreciate you two both so much. Thank you
Yeah.
for coming on
No problem.
And Marilyn, thank you for jumping on. And Brian, I appreciate this. We're gonna definitely have to have a part two because
we'll do a
I
part two
didn't
and
even get to get into a little bit more of the stuff that we wanted to.
Okay, we'll do a part two.
Definitely do that. I enjoyed listening to you both.
Yeah.
It was great.
Hopefully it'll be a little bit more organized, but we'll figure it out. But I gotta leave the studio, so
okay.
I gotta
go ahead. Bye.
Love you all.
And
Bye.
everybody in the chat, thank you all. Bye.
Have a
We
great
will see
day.
y'all on the next one.